I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to
Welcome back to Formula SimRacing, everybody. It is time for round one of the Formula SimRacing 2021 Pro season. My name is Felix van Delft. I will be hosting the broadcast today together with Aidan Millward. Welcome, Aidan. I am looking very much forward to this race.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Brand new season, starting at one of the best racetracks in Europe, if not the world. In a brand new car as well, which is going to be interesting. No DRS, we're going to have refueling, just 2 compounds of tyres as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how these cars handle around this type of track.
Yeah, we had a slight bit of delays. Sorry for that. So we'll quickly go through what has happened and what is happening. Qualifying is already done. Quickly have a look at the schedule, what the season schedule is. Basically, 12 race season up until August, and with 3 important races in between, which is the United States Grand Prix, the Azure Grand Prix, and the French Grand Prix. Those will be ones to definitely look out for, but for now we'll focus on Imola and have a look at what the qualifying standings are after qualifying, because qualifying has actually already passed.
Yep, Victor Ivanov taking pole position with a phenomenal lap of 1:15.6, but only just beat out his teammate Noah Ruivas for second place there. Jan Vosika in third, so it's a Netrex 1, 2, 3. So let's see what happens going to turn 1 with those, if they try and fight it out, or if they keep it nice and stable. But they've got to keep Zoltschuks in behind them, who is quite rapid on his day. Marek Godek there in 5th. So the time is sort of around the 1:15, very, very close, and then you get into sort of 1:16s with David Koleksai, who's about half a second off the pace, but the whole field's separated by about 1.5 seconds. It's absolutely brilliant for the first time out with this new car.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a great race. We saw quite an exciting race in the Academy Series earlier today. A bit of incidents, but that's always going to happen with the lower categories, right? Of course, we also had the Amateur, the AMA division before Academy. We didn't stream that, unfortunately, but I believe that there was quite an interesting race there as well. And hopefully these guys will also give us a good race. In the Pro Series, I think they are just in warm-up right now, so we'll just have a look at how Michi Hoyer talks his way through this great Imola track.
Welcome everyone, this is Formula SimRacing. My name is Michi Hoyer and I welcome you to the FSR 2021 season, which is about to kick off here at Imola, so I also welcome you to the track presentation. As we're coming out of the final turn, we push the car hard towards the start-finish line. The FSR 2021 car, chassis-wise, an F122 regulation. And with refueling, with tyre changes, it's going to be an interesting season. Best overtaking spot here, turn 1, heavy on the brakes. Make sure you hit turn 1 perfectly, because you need the sweet and perfect exit through to turn 2 and 3. Into 4, take that curb, so for 5 you're perfectly on the entry. Short sprint up to turn 6, very late apex here, and then all the power down. Traction is important here. On the sprint up towards turn 7, up the hill, into the quick left-hander. Don't go too wide on the exit, don't want to go too hard over the rattle curve. Into Aqua Minerale, easy on the brakes as the car likes to snap, then don't take the rattle curve too much again. Coming up into Variante della Roccia, take the curb sweet and don't go too wide, because there's another rattle curve that likely unsettles the car into the second best overtaking spot. We come for Rivazza 1 and 2, heavy on the brakes, make sure you hit that curb and then get a perfect exit out of final turn at Rivazza to take all the speed onto the start finish straight. As I said, turn 1's going to be the best overtaking spot. Anyway, we're looking forward to a great season. That is one lap here around the Imola circuit. And strategy, refueling, different tyre compounds and different car philosophies. Going to be all with us during the season.
Welcome back, everybody. Great lap there by Michi Hoyer. Of course, tune in later today in about 2 hours, just under 2 hours time, to see the World Championship race, where Michi Hoyer, of course, will also be taking part. Very short time until we actually jump into the race here, Aidan. These new 2021 Formula Sim Racing cars, they are quite exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, I took one out for a bit of a spin on the default setup yesterday. It's got quite a bit more power than what I'm used to. I'm used to sort of lower formula type cars, touring cars, that sort of thing, GTs with traction control. So it was a bit of a shock to the system trying to come out of places like the slow chicane and Aqua Minerale, getting the power down and not spinning the rear end out. But with a decent setup, these things are just unbelievable fun to drive.
Yeah, of course, refueling is enabled as well this year. So the tank is 48 liters big, which means basically 17 laps per stint. Considering this pro race is not 38 laps, but is 50 laps long, to be precise. That will be 50 divided by 17. You know that by heart, of course?
No.
That is
No,
a total
of
of basically 3 stints.
So 2 pit stops.
Yeah.
And they've got to use each of the 2 compounds as well. So.
Yep. You've got the hard and the soft. They have free choice to choose whichever they start on, though. So that is interesting. We might see some guys starting on the hard tires. But yeah, indeed, refueling is going to be a thing. See who takes on which amount of fuel when in the race and which tires they choose. They have to choose at least the soft and hard once during the race. But that's going to be help all the drivers figure that out. Let's have a look at the starting order.
Yep, so Victor Ivanov, Noah Rovers, Jan Voska, Netrex 1, 2, 3, followed by Zolt Schuks in the HM Engineering car with the optional rim covers on there. There's Marek Godek, who is ahead of Michael Ayres, and then Lawrence Doherty, more HM Engineering cars, nose to tail there. Tom Aldermenger for Burst Simplicity Esports. There's a few Burst cars on the grid. David Koleksai for Royal Blue there in 9th. Ivan Leonov is actually the only one in the top 10 starting on the harder tyres. And then it's back to softs for Zoltan Hives, who's followed by Sergio Fletcher. Cass Reitveld in another Burst Simplicity Esports car, followed by Josh Perwine in the... I can't actually read that on the Discord stream, so apologies for that one. Thomas Vack in his 15th place there. George Chancellor, I can't pronounce his name. I do. Yeah, should have worked on that one before I started for Brem GP in 70s. And Jacob Reed, much easier to pronounce there as well. Rasmus Andreasen, Mika Hakimi, Stoyan Barbakov, and Jackson Vent round out the top 24 or so. And then on to the next page. Arif Roslan for Invictus, followed by Tom Lombards and Go Speed. Matt Tucson, Cameron Roger should have a good old ring digger of a battle at the back of the field here.
Yeah, it will be a great, and final place will be George Dalogianis in 29th, closing off the grid. And I think we are already on the grid with most drivers getting ready to start this race. Indeed, they've already done the formation lap. Just for your info though, the lights are gonna go out in a second and then we're gonna get racing. So Victor Ivanov on pole position, on the soft tires. Let's see what he can do here at Imola. We've got 5 lights.
A full start at the back there.
Ooh. And we are racing. It's a good start for Ivanov. Everybody nicely out of their places. A few smoking engines, but no incidents so far. Let's see how it goes into turn 1. Ivanov keeps the lead. I think a bit of contact in the back.
Crash. Yeah. Who was that? I just seen cars embedded in the wall there. But I was too busy trying to figure out who was involved at that start. It looked like one of the Invictus cars maybe just got a little bit too far in his box. But Thomas Vack is out of the race already, as is Josh Pervine. He's missing his rear wheels. But yeah, it was definitely one of the Invictus cars that just jolted forward in his box. So we might see a car entering the pits in the next couple of laps to serve a penalty for that.
That could very well be the case indeed.
Oh, someone else is round.
I think that's Sure Sagulamanis.
Yeah. He's got it going again. Doesn't look like he's got any damage. So some of the drivers struggling with the insane amount of power that's been chucked out by these cars this season.
Yeah, indeed. Great start though by Viktor Ivanov. His teammates Noah Rovers, Jan Woznica sitting right behind him. I'm sure that these guys will not battle each other to the death, to say it like that. They will probably be a bit nice to each other, work out the strategy, and maybe at the end of the race, if they are still close to each other, they will fight it out. But for now, I'm sure that they will stick closely together. Zolt Sux, I believe, is quite close to Marek Godek in front of him. He will be looking to get an overtake. We've seen this in the Academy race earlier today. There's quite a few drivers trying to go around the outside of turn 1 there, and quite a few drivers that made it stick, and others that weren't really able to make it stick and had contact and spun around. So let's hope that these pro drivers have a bit more skill, at least a bit more racecraft, and are able to navigate through those turns cleanly side by side as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of these drivers as well more used to driving in GT3s and rFactor 2 more recently with GT Pro, GT Challenge, that kind of thing. You can absolutely yeet it over the sausage curbs on the insides of some of these corners, but not in these cars. I mean, we did a test run yesterday afternoon, and cars were virtually going into orbit after hitting those things. So, as we see, someone just going a bit wide through Piratella down towards Acqua Minerale. Survives to fight another day there.
Yeah, just about. Ooh, Akini does not, though.
Oh, how did he keep that out of the wall?
He somehow still kept his front wing as well. Great job of saving the car there. Of course, not so much of a great job of losing the car on the exit, but the race is still long. A little bit of a mistake can happen to the best, of course. Zolt Sux close still to Marek Godek, but not close enough to really make an overtake here coming into turn 1. Probably most of these drivers now just getting used to how the car drives in the dirty air with a full grid, and of course how their competitors drive, trying to find weak spots around the track of perhaps the driver in front of you and see where you can take advantage of perhaps a mistake, or just try to be a bit more quickly out of the final corner and take the slipstream and make the move into turn 1. There is no DRS and no boost modes whatsoever on these cars, so it's just pure old-fashioned racing.
Yeah, proper old school. The other thing to take into account is that some of these drivers have had spins on the opening lap, whereas last season you could just come in and put some new rubber on if you needed it, and then just do that and fiddle around with these strategies that way. You've also got the fuel on board as well, which you can pop back in later on. So do you carry on ruined rubber, or do you come in and fill the tank up at the same time? You know, you're probably only going to gain back, half a lap or so of fuel, but it might add up towards the end.
Yeah, indeed, that might. It's just a bit more difficult on the strategy side this year, especially in the World Championship. It's going to be interesting because there's some extra rules as well for that, so make sure you don't miss any of that coming up later today at 7:45 GMT. Now Zolt Sux close, but not close enough to do anything. Further back on the field though, I think Jacob Reed and Rasmus Andreasen are battling really close. On the gearbox there is Jacob Reed having a look on the inside there, not quite deciding to make the move. It's quite difficult to go side by side there, perhaps coming into the hairpin.
Yeah, the first part of Villeneuve chicane there is quite fast, so trying to throw it up the inside there is just going to mess you up for the second part. You're just going to make contact, but up here towards Piratella, this is where you can make a move if you've got enough alongside, which hasn't got at the minute, but Andreasen just covering off nicely on the slower tyre as well. So hopefully he's going to help Jacob Reed burn out those soft tyres before his hards drop off, but a bit of wiggle there. But if Reed can get a decent exit coming out of Variante Alta here, just absolutely throwing it over the curves. Oh, a bit of Tokyo drift on the exit. That's going to ruin him for trying to get past on this lap, as we see more bumping and barging between Schucks and Godek here coming through the two rFactors that end the lap. That's flat out blast from the rFactors all the way up to Tamburello chicane. No DRS, remember, but look at the slipstream and the closing speed here. Could be a move on down the inside here into turn 1 or turn 2, depending on how you're reading the track map, but that's easy as you like from Zolt Sux there.
Yeah, great move, and now all the HM drivers are right behind him to take advantage of that poor ghost speed driver of Marek Godek, who is being swarmed by Lawrence Doherty and Michael Ayers as well behind him. David Kloksai not too far behind, Tom Oldermenger as well, and then Ivan Leonov with the hard tire the first driver in this field to choose the hard tire. In Academy, it was actually Mantas Rekkers who started on the harder tire that won the race in the end. So I wouldn't count out Ivan Leonov for a potential, well, at least better strategy than some of these drivers in front of him.
Yeah, strategy is going to play more of a part. You think that everybody's just fill the tanks to the top, but you'll be seeing, like in Formula 1 back in the day, some cars starting on lighter setups for more, or lighter fuel tanks for more speed and things like that. I don't think that's actually happening today, but it'll be interesting to see once everybody comes around. Is there going to be any fuel saving as well? Because that can bring things into play, especially on those harder tyres.
Yeah, perhaps. I'll have to wait and see for the first couple of pits of Noah Rovers. Closed up the gap a little bit more to Viktor Ivanov. Still about half a second away. Michael Harris is going for a move on his teammate. I think he backed out of that. And now David Koloksai on his rear wing, basically. Trying to take advantage of that slight mistake that Michael Harris made coming into turn 1. But Koloksai not able to capitalize on it and went onto the rumble strips there. Those rumble strips are quite aggressive. If you go onto them too much, the car just bottoms out and you skid over them and lose all sorts of grip. And that's what happened there to Kaloksai, losing almost the position to Tom Onderhanger. Just was able to keep hold of that position.
Yeah, track limits will come into effect there as well. Get too many warnings from the in-game cut detection, and that's it. You get a drive-through penalty. So that'll probably be the first of however many are programmed into the track. But still managing to keep his car on, well, as on the road as possible. And by on the road, I mean not in a wall. And he can carry on trying to gauge. So there's some debris there at the first Rivazza. Someone's had some sort of impact there by the looks of things.
Yeah, maybe Shatsi Pantelis. Oh, Doherty had some problems, I believe, as he just got passed by his teammate Michael Ayres very early on in the straight. We'll have a look in a bit if we can get a replay of that. I think so. Now let's see if it will actually work. On board here with Doherty. This was earlier on in the lap, I believe.
Yeah, this is coming from Pirotaz down to Acqua Minerale.
Yeah, made a mistake here, went wide.
Yeah, so that's going to be a cut track there. And what happens up towards Variante Alto if he manages to get through there nice and cleanly. I mean, those sausage curves on the insides of those two corners really upset the car. Especially in open wheelers, it just does not like that, but he lives to fight another day as well.
He does indeed. Right, so Kaloksai very close. This battle for basically P4, P5, very close to each other. And of course, in front we've got Noah Rovers, Jan Woznica, and Viktor Ivanov. Very close. What happened?
Sergio Fletcher. If we can grab a replay of that, he just ended up on the grass on that little run from the final chicane down to the two Ravazzas. It's probably lit the tyres up and ended up almost in a wall. As here we are with the replay coming through Variante Alta. See what happens here. So yeah, everything's fine and dandy. Oh,
I guess his wheel disconnected or something.
Yeah, it's,
Ivanov lost the lead of the race. By the way, Ivanov lost the lead of the race. What has happened here? Viktor Ivanov in second place got overtaken by Noah Rovers. Did he make a mistake or did Noah just get a run out of the final corner? I'm going to grab a quick replay of that as well, because that's quite interesting.
Those three Netrex cars have also got 3 seconds over Zoltschuk's in fourth place. So here's Noah, who's it says P1 on the screen. There we go. Yeah, went wide coming out of the Tamburello chicane. So that's Noah Rovers up into the lead. But still, Netrex in firm control of this race, 3 seconds ahead of Zoltschuk's, who has 2 seconds over Marek Godek now, as Jacob Reed appears. Oh, who? Was that Andreasen who's just take? Oh, hang on, it's all kicking off as Jackson Vent and Sergio Fletcher had a moment at Variante Alta there, just straight lined it. I think they may have made contact and got tied up on each other as a rear wing at the first of the Rivazza corners. Yeah,
I think that's it's just a bit of debris that the stewards, the marshals left there. Looked like a good place for them, I think.
Fletcher pitting now.
Right. So his tires are probably ruined. Maybe also some damage. And Bosnica, he's pretty close to Ivanov still. But I think he's a bit too far to do anything in this lap.
Yeah, it looks like fuel and tyres for Fletcher here. So that's the other thing with fuel is, do you put enough fuel in for the life of those tyres and then fill it up to the top? I think he's staying on the soft tyres here. So
yeah, he is.
Soft tyres, full tank, bit of a smoking engine. Car gets very hot. Let's see what happens let's see what happens to him now, I should say.
Yeah, basically slots in right at the back of the grid. Only Hanko is behind him still. But there's still 42 laps to go in this race, so there might still be an opportunity for him to gain some places. David Koloksa is also trying to get an opportunity to gain some places, but I think he's just a bit too far away from Lawrence Doherty to make any moves on this lap. But if you can stick closely with him, Lawrence Doherty has lost a bit of the connection to Michael Ayers in front of him.
Yeah, but just over a second between those two. If this was last season, you'd have DRS to be able to catch back up, but not this year. So he's going to have to pass him the old-fashioned way by driving faster.
Tom Oldemenger also still behind these guys, trying to perhaps find a way to get past, or perhaps just taking it easy, saving some tires, saving some fuel, and then doing perhaps a bit of a different strategy compared to them later on when they do the first stops. I would assume the first stops are going to happen around lap 17. That is at least that is the amount of laps you would do if you would fill up the tank completely before starting the race. There could be people that underfueled, as we saw that in Academy, but I'm not sure if that actually will work out. I think it worked out for Montes Recus in Academy, but this is of course a different race. It's a bit of a longer race, so perhaps that won't work as well as it did in Academy.
Yeah, just trying to save those tyres as long as possible. But it depends how much the drop-off is in performance as those tyres get baked as they scrub across the tarmac, as well as being caught in any dirty air that's being chucked off the back of the car in front, which is something we haven't properly seen yet. We're all new to this car. We're new to talking about it, so join us for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, so far great racing. Noah Rose is enjoying himself in the front after that mistake from Viktor Ivanov that gifted him the lead. He stretched that lead to about a second now as we come out of the final corner once again for the 11th time this race. A backmarker coming up in front, I believe, but that shouldn't be a big problem.
Yeah, it's Hanko, so going into Tamburello. He'll get the blue flags and move over. Patrick Hanko always up at the pointy end last season, so this is not indicative of his actual pace. Yeah,
I believe he had a bit of an issue at the start of the race. Probably was involved in that incident the first lap.
Just trying to see what other close battles we've got going on. Oldenmenger and Leonov nose to tail, and then Zoltan Heisen and Cass Reitfeld are behind Ivan as well. Yeah, Ivan on the white wall tyres, but Zoltan and Cass on the softer tyres, so see how that one pans out.
Yeah, I think Ivanov is in Leonov. Ivan Leonov is in
Victor Ivanov and Ivan. Yes, we've all done it.
I think he's in a relatively good position. I mean, he's still in front of a few soft drivers. He hasn't lost the connection too much to the soft runners in front of him. At this stage, his hard tires are probably going to be a little bit better than most of the soft tires of the drivers in front of him. And of course, he's got that hard stint done. He doesn't need to go into the hard tires anymore in this race. All the drivers in front of him do have to do that, and also all the other drivers that are on the softs right now do still have to take hard tires. and Ivanov can just, or Leonov can just go onto the softs and push as hard as he can, of course, where it allows him.
I wonder if anyone's tried double stinting those hard tyres.
Interesting. But I don't think...
I don't think they'd last that long.
Yeah. I don't think it, like, I mean, I think the fuel
28 laps, no.
And the fuel and the tires are simultaneously anyway in the pit stop, I think. So I don't think you gain any time by not taking the tires in the pit stop, I think. So you can just as well do it if your fuel is out. You're going to have to take tires anyway. Or you can take tires anyway if it doesn't cost you any more time.
So it's probably better to get the fresh rubber and be faster immediately, isn't it? So it's a thought, considering that the tank only lasts, 7 laps or so. So it's probably something they may have tried doing, but I'll probably get called a moron in chat for suggesting it.
I guess we'll see. Colton High's behind his teammate as well, sister teammate. Effectively, he is on the soft tires. Perhaps he will be able to close in a little bit more in these next few laps. His pace has been relatively decent. Leonov did a 17.8 that last lap. Colton Highs did a 17.6 that last lap. Victor Ivanov just did a purple first sector, by the way. He's starting to speed up a little bit as well, trying to close that gap towards his teammate, Noah Rovers, who is leading the race right now.
Yeah, Netrex still holding that comfortable lead at the front. It's now gone up to about 4 seconds between Rovers and Sux. So 2 seconds between Voznica and Sux, but might as well hold position and just match their lap times, play it nice and safe, and then kick it right into gear towards the end. But if you're a betting man, you'd probably have a safe bet on one of those 3 drivers winning the race here today.
Yeah, I would say so too, but the race is still long. 37 laps to go, 36 as they cross the line right now. But you never know what's going to happen.
So 14th down to 21st, all on the hard tyres right now. Leonov, the only member still of the top 10 on the hard tyres. So the majority have gone for the soft tyres to try and get some pace immediately out the blocks, but as we're now on lap 15 of 50, those softs will be probably getting close to their use-by date. Performance will start to drop off, but the fuel will help them a little bit on the straights, and a little bit of the acceleration coming out the corners. A lighter car, easier to shift. It's interesting factoring in the fuel at this season as we go on board with El Presidente Cameron Roger. He's doing okay down there in 18th, having started on the last 2 rows of the grid. Just throwing it through Villeneuve chicane out towards Tosa. Very tricky corner because it's like it tightens and then you've got to get on the power to get out the other side. It's quite good. Quite a good track, Imola. You got corners like Piradelta, or Piratella, so Piradelta's in Mexico. You can throw the car in there, and then this is the tricky part: Aqua Minerale, having to get the car pulled up while on the brakes, and then get it through without locking up or locking the rears, and then getting the power down on the other side up to Variante Alta. So it's a track that looks easy on paper, but to really extract the most out of lap times and stuff, it's just so difficult.
Yeah, for sure. Cameron Roger doing a decent job, I would say. He's not last, but he's still a little bit outside of the point still. Perhaps if he can do some strategy calls, as I say, that
like
comes
that
into the pit lane. Together with Jackson Wendt in lap 16. So he did 15 laps effectively on this tank, on these tires. Interesting to see. He's going on to softs. He's done the hards. Now he will probably be going another set of hards after this towards the end of the race.
Yeah, he'd probably go soft towards the end for maximum pace, but it could throw something else, maybe a short middle stint. Whack on the hards towards the end, but we don't know yet. It's going to be wait and see. We don't really know what's going to go on with these cars. Ooh, that was close. Leonov and Hives almost coming together in the final two corners. I think Ivan Leonov almost went. Almost went to. It's like Tony Mello and Luca D'Amelio, and I called him Tony D'Amelio. It's Leonov almost got wiped out in the final two corners as his pursuer has faster tyres than he does.
A few more guys came into the pit lane there. Zoltzouk's, Micro Ears, Andreasen, Lalu, all into the pit lane for their first pit stop of the season. Let's see if they all selected the right amount of fuel. And more drivers coming in the background there. As we see, this is going to be pretty close on the exit. We all survived for now. But that maybe you will need to ask for a new set of underpants in the next pit stop.
Yeah. Is there an unsafe release rule in this series? I don't know. There is now. Andreas Rasmussen.
He's right in front of Jackson Wendt, who just pitted a lap before. His soft tires are basically driven in by now for one lap. There's a bit more temperature in them. Andreasen won't struggle too much though, as he kind of already shows to be pulling away a little bit there.
The entire top 10's in now.
Yeah. Oh, Jan Wozniak is reversing into his pit box. This is a bit messy. A lot of drivers coming in.
Oh, they're sharing a box, I think.
Yeah, maybe. It's just very tight here. With all of these boxes quite close together, you would say the pit lane is so extremely long.
And there's collisions in this sim as well, unlike the others.
It is all very close. At the front though, Noah Rovers is still effectively leading. Jacob Reed hasn't stopped yet. Victor Ivanov right behind that. Zoltzouk has gained positions because Jan Wozniak is all the way down in 13th now. Lost a lot of time in that pit stop phase. And effectively his race for the podium, I think, is over now. All of these drivers in front of him have also stopped. So he will be struggling to get back up to the front of the field.
Yeah, we've also lost Patrick Hanko, who was circulating around the back of the field. He's called time on his race. Probably wasn't going to get anything out of it, he thought, maybe. As we now have... Actually, most of the top 10 who pitted on that last lap have all remained on the soft tyres. So 2 sprints and then 1 for the end. Be interested to see who ends up on opposing strategies here. You'd have thought Leonov definitely would.
Yeah, you would. Jacob Reed is now into the pit lane. He will be...
Softs again?
Yeah, it seems like it indeed. So he's choosing to go for the harder tires later on in the race. Micro Ears, I think, with Marek Godek side by side coming into turn 1. Wheel banging and a little bit of contact as Micro Ears had to go over the anti-cuts there. He's lucky that he didn't get thrown into the air because Rietveld and Ivan Leonov are going to do the exact same thing. Rietveld is able to get past there, coming into the first corner.
Leonov come back at him though. Yeah. Oh, there's that bit of contact there, but yeah, don't bother trying to overtake into that first part of Villeneuve. Oh, he's gone wide. And there we go. Ivan says thank you very much and takes that freebie, as it looks like Rietveld has lost another place to Wozniak as a result of going wide there.
Yeah, and Zoltan Hives right behind that on hard tires, looking to capitalize on this as well. Ooh, as he goes wide onto that rumble strip. That rumble strip, as I mentioned earlier, is quite dangerous. It is very easy to go a little bit too far onto it, and then you lose all the momentum, and your car just bottoms out off of the racetrack. Noah Rovers, he's gotten a bit more of a lead compared to Ivan Leonov. Oh, as Marek Godek almost loses the car coming out of the final corner. Lawrence Doherty is a bit too far behind to really take any advantage from that, but Mike Weers will be happy that he didn't get attacked by him. Actually, maybe Mike Weers got passed because of that. We could have a look at a replay for that.
Let's have a quick look. So Michael Ayers coming under the bridge towards the first of the 2 Ravazzas. Oh yeah, it's because what you have is where those like sawtooth bits are, those white bits on the edge of the curb. If you drop beyond that, it's almost like there's a drop between the curb and the gravel traps, so the car just ends up bottoming out on those sawtooths, whatever you want to call them, and then that just screws you up for the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly.
See also Silverstone.
Doherty is now closing in behind Marek Godek, who we just saw make that mistake last lap. Pace at the front is quite high. Noah Rovers just did a 16.8. Viktor Ivanov 16.7. Felix starting to pick up the pace there, the Netflix boys. As Doherty is a bit too far back, I think, to do anything to Marek Godek in front of him. Marco Eers is also safe enough.
Zoltan Hayes just dropped it slightly on the gravel coming through the first Rivazza, but it hasn't affected him too much. That's just who I've got on my other screen here. I'm trying to watch two different things at once, which is probably not recommended. But here we have Ayres, Godek, Doherty, that three-way scrap for fourth place. All on the soft tyres. So it's all going to be down to setup, driver skill, fuel. So many variables this season, which is always good to see.
Jan Bosnica and Ivan Leonov are also in a bit of a battle between each other. Both, of course, Networks drivers, so I would assume that these drivers don't battle each other too hard. But if one makes a mistake, Ivan Leonov there almost lost the car. And I'm sure Bosnica will then capitalize on that mistake, but is right now a little bit too far back.
Yeah, it was a safe 1-2-3 for Netrex, but then again we saw it was one of them. They ended up sharing a pit box. That's forced one of them to have to wait, so they're gonna have to play catch up. But Roivers and Ivanov, almost said Leonov, still nice and comfortable at the front. Result Sucks only 2 seconds off the leader right now, so it's all starting to come back to HM Engineering at this point.
Indeed. Viktor Ivanov, Noah Rovers, gap basically the same, pace basically the same. Ivanov was a little bit quicker, about 1/10 compared to Rovers, but they are compared to Suks quite a bit quicker. Suks last lap did a 17.5, and both of Noah Rovers and Ivan Leonov, Viktor Ivanov, did a 16 high, 16.8, 16.9. So they are both making that gap to Zoltsuks a bit bigger.
Approaching the halfway point of the race. So far we've lost Hanko, Fletcher, Zalogianis, I think I got that right, Mika Kimi, Josh Purvine and Thomas Vach. Purvine and Vach didn't even make the end of the first lap before suffering an accident. Hakimi blew his engine by the looks of things, and the rest have all been accidents except Patrick Hanko, who appears to have just withdrawn. So nearly halfway through, as we sort of midway through lap 23 here.
Yeah, about 27.5 laps to go, as you see Marek Godek putting some pressure back on Michael Ayres. These three drivers, I should say, to be honest, with Doherty involved, not too far behind this as well, have been battling basically from the get-go, and they're not stopping whatsoever. At least they're not planning to, I think. This ghost speed is a bit of a sandwich, which makes it a bit difficult for him, perhaps.
Yeah, he's going to have to watch for Doherty closing in. You can just see that Ayres has got a tiny bit of a gap on him. Let's see what Doherty does under braking for Tamburello here. Managing to keep it all under control.
A bit of a battle going on here
hello.
between Bosnica, Leonov and Oldermenger. They're all very close to each other. Bosnica trying to find a way.
Whoa! Someone died?
Oh, okay. I think it's Godek. Yeah.
Yeah. That car is toast.
Let's have a look. You see indeed the front wing of Marek Godek.
And the suspension's caved in as well. That was a heavy hit. I only just saw it on my other screen. Really copped a whack. I think he might have dropped it on the exit of Villeneuve or just lost it under power. But we've got a replay coming up here. So this is on the run towards Villeneuve. Throws it in nicely for the first part. Second part, yeah, he's just dropped it on power. And donk. He's done.
Yeah. That is unfortunate for him. He'll have to do the entire lap back to the pit lane, get a fresh front wing, and hope that he's got any chances of some points today. Just needs to finish within the top 15 for that. Bosnica and Leonov close to each other. Teammates, but I think Bosnica might be able to try something here. Closing in. He's a bit too far back.
Oh, Oldermenger lost his front wing as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Alright.
Him and Godek are in the pit lane right now.
That's interesting. Let's have a look at Oldermenger then as well.
So where did this... Oh, that's on the
this is
exit
already,
of Acqua Minerale, that one.
Did he clip the curb?
Dropped on
coming
power.
off of the curb.
Yeah. If you've got full power going on coming off that corner, as you come off the curb, it's almost like the wheels are spinning and they're partially in the air, and then they hit the tarmac, and then you just got no grip, and off you go. It's been quite it's certainly a problem I've had in this car, as Godek's now officially retired from the race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. Was looking pretty strong in the top 10 there. Perhaps if strategy fell into his favor, might have been even a podium. But he's going to have to go back and practice for Portugal a bit more now then. And hopefully do better there.
That pit stop's dropped Oldermenger down to 19th, so who was once the front runner of the Burst Esports cars is now the back runner of the Burst Esports cars. While Cameron Rogers has now been promoted to 16th and all of that. But Rasmus Andreasen, fantastic performance from him. He's now up to 12th.
Yeah, great drive. Got it quite far back on the grid, but just been consistent, no mistakes. And you can see what that can get you. Solid points finish for now, and of course he just did his no, the overlay is doing weird stuff. They told me that it was doing second stop, but he's not, as far as I'm aware. Anyway, I think Satsi Pantelis is indeed having some troubles.
Where's that? That's Pira. Oh, that's exit of Acqua Minerale.
It is.
The chicane.
The
Sorry.
chicane, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look what he did.
He's probably dropped it on power again.
I guess
I'll say it
he's
again.
already.
Oh. Whoa. So yeah, he's probably straight line. Well, he hasn't. Oh, he's dropped it on power, coming off the curb. Then, in the panic of trying to get back on track, he's lost it again and almost been front-ended by. Oh, don't go into oncoming traffic like that. Oh well, nobody died. It's fine.
Yep, it's all fine.
Crisis averted.
Back to the battle for P8 or P7. Bosnica, Leonov close to each other. Aloksai right in front of that. The teammates not battling really with each other. At least Bosnica not deciding yet to go for a move. Perhaps he's not able to. Perhaps he just is smart that he doesn't want to upset his teammate too much. Doherty and Michael Hirsch in basically the same position. I think Doherty is not able to overtake into turn 1 this lap. Yeah, it's too far back. Let's have a look if Ivan Leonov and Jon Vosnica are able to do anything.
Yeah, but Leonov's going to have the slipstream on Kalaxai. He's going to go to the outside for Tamborelli. Might be able to sweep round the outside here. Great racing between the two of them not to make any contact, but Kalaxai and Vosnica will want a piece of this when they come up to Villeneuve. Don't try to send it up the inside there. He's backed out of it. And everybody lives to fight another day. But, oh, there we go. There's a freebie for Vosnica. Kalaxai just dropped it on the gravel coming out. That would have bottomed the car out. Slowed it right down. And there we go. Netrex up into 6th and 7th.
Yeah, fighting back up the field. Of course, Vosnica had that troublesome pit stop earlier on. First pit stop. And now fighting back. I would say there is about 5 laps to go in this second stint, and then after that we are going until the end. There is a little bit of room to play, I guess, but I mean it is 22 laps to go now, and it is 17 laps, maybe 18 if you stretch it, that you can get out of one tank. So yeah, I wouldn't expect anybody to pit any earlier than 5 laps from now.
Yeah, we're trying to finish with as little fuel in the tank as possible. In an ideal world, you'd do 17, which is 34.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. GCSE maths. Then another 17, which is, I don't know.
51.
51. Ah,
Yeah.
so it's 17, 17, 16. So,
Basically,
yeah. So you just need to put like a couple of litres less in at your second stop, assuming everything's going to plan. And then yeet it towards the end.
Yeah, and I think there were a few drivers that did stop 1 lap earlier already. We saw that. In the first stops. That I think it was Cameron, for example, that stopped 1 lap earlier. So he will probably go on for 1 lap more now compared to the others. Or 1 lap less, I should say.
Yeah, so he would have put the 16 laps to start with, and then 2 full tanks towards the end for undercuttage. So, interesting. At the risk of quoting that line from Dodgeball, it's an interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Colton Hives behind Cas Rietveld. Closing in. Bit too far back to do anything. But good top speed from this Netrex car, that's for sure.
And a bit of a lock-up into turn 1 there, a bit of understeer, that will cost him a bit of time. They're still running quite well, the 2 Netrex drivers up at the front anyway. That's 4-second gap between Roivers and Sux, which is fair enough. Zoltan Hives here running in the top 10.
Simon Frelick and Tom Lombards battling out there, and Frelick looked to be pushed a bit wide on the outside there. Didn't get the full battle there, but I guess Frelick will be trying again to get past Tom Lombards. They're getting closer and closer to those points paying positions. Cameron Roger right now in 16th place, just shy of that final point. There is about 20 laps to go until the finish line.
The final stops probably within the next 3 or 4 laps.
Yep.
Currently Kalaxai, Rietveld and Hives on the hards in that top running group. You assume everybody else will pit for another set of softs. Actually, no, because the others will have to go onto the hards, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I think Rovers, Ivanov, Tsouks, Ears, Doherty, and Vosnica, all of them need to go to the hards. Leonov
doesn't.
No. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so Leonov will have a little bit of extra pace towards the end. He might end up with a top 5 by the end of this, if not 6th.
He's about 8 seconds behind Doherty, so he's got a bit to catch up. But if he gets proper use out of that soft tire, might be able to indeed get up to 5th. Bosnica and Leonov. They've been behind each other ever since the first pit stops, basically. Perhaps Bosnica just choosing to save a bit behind Leonov. Not try to overdrive the tires or the car. Maybe save a bit of fuel. Make sure that he gets to the end of the race at least. Might be a good time to give a little bit of a mention of who is all making it possible for us to host all these events here at Formula Sim Racing. Of course, our partners, which are SimLab, Masita Esports, and 3D Rap. They're all making it possible and providing prizes for the winners of the certain divisions, and most importantly, the World Championship, of course, which is coming up in just over an hour's time at 7:45 GMT. So make sure you tune in for that as well. Those guys always go at it. And of course, we've got a great lineup of drivers. Jurne Simoncic will be defending his title. We've got Mohamed Patel, Peter Brojak in the Budosuit Plus Williams car. That combo of drivers is always been strong in Formula Sim Racing, winning the championship in 2015 I should say, with Peter Brojak and the constructors, of course. And Mohamed Patel, of course, is also world champion from 2017, which actually had similar-ish cars as we have right now, as in they also had refueling enabled. So perhaps Mohamed Patel will be quite strong in the race. We'll have to wait and see and tune in for that, of course, later.
Yeah, that will also be shown on the race as well, won't it, for World Championship? Yeah,
indeed. We've got the race as broadcast partner, so we've got that coming up also.
Yeah, Andreasen and Lalu in a bit of a humdinger of a battle, as we see. There's that lap traffic there that's got in the way.
Felix, Onnerminger and Lombards, they have been pretty close to each other and are now battling it out between each other. And I think we've got the first pitters indeed. Sultsuks, Lawrence Doherty, into the pit lane for their final stop.
Yeah, Cam's just pitted as well. So Shooks and Doherty pitting together. Doherty had to double stack. That's going to hurt him.
That is indeed unfortunate.
But he slowly coasted into his box, so he didn't exactly have to stop, but he will still lost a couple of seconds doing that. Probably didn't get the distancing right for that, but he would have still lost time having to back out of it anyway. So yeah, probably damage limitation there. He's on a fresh set of the harder compound tyres, so he's good to the end now.
Fresh air in front of him. That is good to have. And push this outlap to try and minimize the time that he lost there, but it might, looking at where Sux is right now, it is quite significant still.
Be interesting to see where Cameron Rogers cycled through here, because he pitted before everybody else at the start of the race. So if he manages to cycle just up to within a couple of seconds of the points paying positions, that'll be a decent return for him. As the Netrex drivers in the pit lane here, Ivanov and Roivers. Roivers will just be about to fire it out the pit lane in a second. Yep, there we go. He'll probably cycle back through into the lead come the end. Actually, no, that's that is Roivers, yeah. It's because the Rd.1 is who's in the lead rather than who's being watched. I get it now. Oh, and here come everybody else. As Leonov, Hives, Kolaksai, Andreasen, all in the pit lane here.
Yeah, it's going to be busy again.
Roslan as well for Invictus. And we've lost George Chatsipantelis as well. I think because I saw earlier on my rFactor 2 screen.
Oh, Cameron Roger has had
oh
an
no!
incident. Oh boy, Cam, you did so well so far.
Yeah,
Let's have a look. What happened?
yeah. Don't show it on repeat though.
Maybe. Let's see. Coming into this fast left-hander. Did he clip the curb on the outside? I think he did. Yeah, too much. And then...
Oh, and then walled it. Oh, he's George Russelled it.
Yeah.
Good J-turn though.
Yeah, he recovered pretty well.
Yeah. That's going to be annoying because he's just pitted, so it's...
Yeah. This race basically done.
Yeah, by points.
Jan Woznica in the pits. Jacob Reed hasn't stopped yet. He was also one of the guys that went long in his first stint. He's probably going to go long in this stint again. So he has to refuel quite a bit less. Might save him a few seconds. Let's see, where is Leonov? Right there. So Woznica lost a little bit of time. Lawrence Doherty, though, he is right on the back of Jan Woznica here.
Yeah, Doherty's showing some good pace here on the harder tyre. Woznica also... hang on. Am I reading this right? It says that Doherty is on the white tyre. Woznica is also on the white tyre, but I just saw him on the red tyre, unless the server hasn't updated that yet.
Maybe. For me, it shows the white ones.
Oh, yeah, I can see it in the distance now on the Discord screen. Ignore me. Sometimes it just takes a few minutes for the thing to update, but yeah, Doherty's lost big time out to Woznica with that little mistake going through the Villeneuve chicane. But you'd think the next couple of laps would be back on the tail.
Indeed, Tom Lamberts is in the wall. Ooh, he managed to keep his front wing. Let's see what happened to him. I think it was together with Simon Felix. Something happened. They were battling already for a while. Have a look on board with Lombard. I think Felix is right behind him. Right next to him, actually, coming into turn 1. Is it the classic? Yeah. Managed to keep it out of the wall. But, of course, losing a lot of time.
Yeah, Stoyan Barbakov in the pit lane down there in 21st place. If there's one thing that could, just explain Felix, is that 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st have a purple number next to them.
They are lapped.
They are lapped.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the grey numbers are the points paid positions,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Today I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, we always try to get those nice little twerks into the overlay. Just a little bit easier to see what is happening on the track, actually. At least that's the idea. Perhaps a little bit of explanation is indeed needed. So for now, everybody knows. Right, 13 laps to go. Noah Rovers has increased his lead quite extensively now to Victor Ivanov. 4.5 seconds. Then Sotsuk's 12 seconds to Ivanov. Netrex really showing that they've got the pace, and this is going to be promising for a World Championship as well. I would assume Carlos Martin and Danny van der Niet driving the World Championship cars there. See how they will be able to show that pace there as well.
Yeah, Netrex, a team usually at the pointy end in FSR, particularly in Pro. They usually run very, very well here. Obviously in WC, you've got the likes of Burst Esports with Simoncic and ACR before them, and now HM Engineering with Jeroen Kwekel doing very well over the last year or so. But it looks like the two Netrex cars have got it comfortable now. It's 12 seconds between Roivers and Shucks right now, and 8 seconds between Ivanov and Shucks. So you'd think that they just have to drive to the end. Yeah,
that's what you would say indeed. Lap times stable. Noah Roivers 17.5, Ivanov 17.6, and Zolt Shucks indeed a bit slower 18.0. Michael Ayers 18.0. Ivan Leonov, of course, on the soft tires 16.8, so he is closing quite rapidly to Michael Ayers, and I think he will be able to be on his tail in the next 2-3 laps, maybe already looking at it now, to be honest.
Yeah,
he's able to line himself up for a move in the next lap.
I mean, with the Constantina effect, it looked a lot closer than it actually is, as you speed up, obviously the gap appears bigger, even though the time difference between the two is exactly the same. Bit of Tokyo drift through the first rVactor. Bit of, Ivan had a bit of a wiggle and then went a bit wide, so he's just lost that time to Ayers now.
Yeah, there's also back marker. I think that Jackson went in front of them that had a bit of a moment out of the final corner. But Leonov, and he lost a bit of time there. Unfortunate, but he'll surely be able to catch up once again. Back marker in front of him. He got him out of the way.
Yeah, probably let him go coming out of Tosa, or just move over here. I mean, there would work. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, there we go.
That works.
Yeah. So the chase is back on between Ayers and Leonov. 1.1 seconds the difference between the two of them as they come through Acqua Minerale. Probably the trickiest corner, trickiest complex on the circuit. And up the hill towards Variante Alta, which is, again, a tricky chicane with those sausage curves on the inside. You can just see him absolutely hammering them coming through there, and then try not to lose it on the exit. Just checking on the gap again. That gap is now down to 3/4 of a second, so Leonov's clawed it back. He might get a little bit of a tow as... Ooh, that's a Royal Blue car in the gravel.
Simon Frelick, I believe.
Frelick, yeah. So if Leonov was distracted by that, he might have lost a bit of time. But yeah, that gap, 0.6 of a second, so he got a little bit of a tow, but nothing to really make a difference. Riding on board as that's one of the Invictus cars, just getting out of the way of this little battle here. I think that might have been Matt Toussaint.
Yeah, I believe it was indeed.
Yeah, half a second now the gap.
Yeah. Bit of a lock up there from Ayers. Almost lost the car there. Good save from Ivanov, Leonov.
Oh, a bit too deep into Alta there. It's almost like they're pressuring each other into a mistake. Ivan's making mistakes trying to catch up, and Ayers is making mistakes under the pressure of being chased. So it could go either way at this point with 8 to go. Or 7 to go.
8. Bit too far back now. He just needs to get close enough throughout the basically the entire track. Get close enough, and the final 2 corners, make sure you stay that close, and then make the move coming into turn 1. That's what we've seen, at least most predominantly, in Academy and early in this race. If it paid out or if it went well in turn 1, then that is a different question, but that seems to be a way to do an overtake here at Imola in these cars. But you never know. If somebody tries something different, it might catch the driver in front off guard. For example, maybe just dive into the chicane here. I don't think that's a great idea, but
you'd have to be brave or stupid or both to try that. But he's right on the back side of him now. Might have a little bit of a slipstream towards the final 2 corners, but he won't be able to send a dive up the inside here. So now, assuming everything goes okay for Leonov through here, he'll have the slipstream and maybe a run into Tamburello that
Yeah.
Where will Ayers send him? Inside or outside? Probably outside.
Probably it's going to be pretty easy to defend that inside since this corner goes
Well, here we
to
go.
the left. Here we go. Overspeed.
Softer compound tyres. He might have a little bit more grip, but they'll be slightly used by this point. No contact. And he's through.
Yeah, great.
Ayers has a bit of a wobble on the exit, but they're still going.
Great racing between the two there. Letting each other live as well. That's it's very important. Michael Ayers, of course, knows as well a little bit that those tires from Ivanov will start to get a bit worse compared to his hard tires as this stint goes on. So maybe he just now needs to try and stick with him. And once that drop-off comes, perhaps try to get past him again. But that's not going to be easier probably because Ivanov is, of course, trying to push these tires as hard as possible now to create that gap.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the delta is between the two tyres, but if Ivanov could just sort of match Ayers, he should be okay.
Yeah. Then our Rovers is still comfortably leading. 5 seconds now to Victor Ivanov. Zolt Suks 14 seconds behind Ivanov in his turn. So Rovers is pretty safe. Ivanov is pretty safe. Leonov 3 seconds to Suks with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, Suks last lap at 18 dead.
I guess.
Leonov's 17.8 last lap for Leonov. So taking little chunks out, but 3 seconds with 6 laps remaining. It's going to be a hard ask.
It most definitely is.
On board with Ivan as he lobs it through Aqua Minerale. Nice and clean on the exit, but still a gap of 3 seconds to Zolt Suks in front. So unless Suks buckles under pressure, which is something I'm not expecting him to do, looks like Suks might have a safe third place, and Leonov will have to settle for fourth here. But you can see Suks just there in the distance, just exiting the final corner, heading up towards Tamburello. Leonov does have softer tyres as well, but you know, like we've been saying, those things are pretty baked by now. I think Leonov might have actually picked up a cut track on the last. No, he didn't. Okay, it's just hadn't updated yet. So 17.5 for Leonov that lap. Let's try to see what Suks did. 17.8. So yeah, it's that 2.5, 3/10 per lap. So yeah, I don't think Leonov's going to be stepping onto the podium today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be rather difficult for him as well.
Do we have any other battles going on around the track? No, I think everybody's pretty spaced out right now. Jacob Reed and Rasmus Andreasen still battling. There's not much between them. It's Reed, Andreasen and Lalu who are fighting over 11th position at the minute, which looks interesting.
Let's have a look. Indeed, they're pretty close to each other.
Yeah, separated by just over a second, the three of them.
Lalu needs to get a good exit here. Rasmus Andreasen is under big pressure. Needs to get a good exit out of this final corner. And I think he does get a decent exit. Lalu, though, will have the slipstream, and Andreasen is a bit too far back from Reed to get anything, I think.
If he probably has just enough, as his car exiting the pit lane in front of them, and decides to use the old layout. So that might be it's either Lombards or Vent that they've just passed. Yeah, I think it was Lombards. Still pretty stable as they go through Tozer, but I think Andreasen might just be dropping Lalu a little bit on this lap.
Yeah, closing into Reed as well. Reed is of course on those hard tires, so in general a bit slower, but it's already quite late in the stint, so you would say that those hard tires are a bit better than the softs.
All three of them nice and clean through Barriante Alta. I think Andreasen might have closed in slightly on this lap. It's all going to be down to the exit here. Lalu has a little bit of a wobble. That gives Andreasen a bit of a reprieve here. I think Andreasen too far back to do anything here. So someone else exiting the pit lane. That's Matthew Toussaint. Oh
boy.
That was close.
Very close indeed, and perhaps a bit...
I need to see a replay of that, because I don't know if that was Toussaint not checking his mirrors, or Andreasen being a bit too aggressive under braking for Tamburello there. So this is Toussaint, or Toussaint, however you want to pronounce it, coming out of the pit lane here. So he's going to he's got the blue light saying that there's traffic coming. So Jacob Reed goes through. Andreasen,
yeah,
just overcooked it under braking, I think.
Yeah, I think Andreasen was expecting Toussaint to leave the gap. Toussaint didn't leave the gap. A bit of miscommunication. Perhaps a bit, Toussaint not being careful enough with traffic, but that's luckily not my call exactly to make. And stewards will have a look at that after the race, of course.
So this is Lawrence Doherty. Almost has the entire track to himself at this point, as he's about 3 seconds behind Jan Vosdika, with about 2 or 3 laps remaining on the clock. Gap at the front stabilised to about 15 seconds or so. Oh, here we go, Andreasen and Co. It's all kicking off, going through Villeneuve chicane here.
It is indeed. All these... Ooh, what a
Whoa!
send! Yukka-Pekka Lalu just sends it there, coming into the hairpin, completely
off the road.
Rasmussen, Andreasen off guard. I think he just touched the curb and then had a bit of wheel spin and went to the grass because of that. I think he didn't really get pushed off.
Yeah.
He just got caught off guard completely. Now, Aidan Roslan is in between these guys as well.
Andreasen's just like, move!
Yeah, he's fighting
oh, no, that's
positions. Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to be happy. Oh, there we go.
Lalu is...
Yeah. So that's a freebie.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now into the final couple of corners with Andreasen here? He's probably just going to try and send one into Tamburello, but he's so close you can almost read the part number on the back of that rear wing. He's absolutely flying trying to get him. I think he's lost it slightly coming out the final corner, but Andreasen, just check my other screen, he's not quite close enough just yet. Or maybe he is. He's going to go to the outside. Oh, Alf Roslan covers that off nicely. Oh, he's got a bit too deep coming out of Tamburello. And Andreasen just swoops around the outside at turn 3 just to take that position back. So he's back into 12th there.
Yeah, and I think Cas Rietveld is also caught up to the back of Lawrence Doherty now. On those fresh soft tires, Cas Rietveld able to close in quite a lot. Late braking for the both of them. Doherty taking the defensive line. Rietveld now, surely if he gets a good exit out of the final corner, will be able to make that overtake.
Roivers has started his final lap, so... Oh, bye.
Okay. Yeah, that's an easy overtake for Rietveld. And indeed, as you say, Roivers is on his final lap. Great race from Netrex overall, and a great performance from Nora Roivers. Viktor Ivanov was leading the race at the start, got pole position, but made that mistake in the first stint, lost the lead to Nora Roivers, and he hasn't let go of it whatsoever throughout this entire race.
Yeah, Roivers that was driving for Butler Power Motorsport last season, now with Netrex. It's probably his first race for Netrex, isn't it? So it'll be a good,
I assume so, yeah.
Good debut win for him here tonight. Goes through the final corner here. Be a seemingly easy win for him here.
Yeah, great drive by Noah Rovers and Netflix to win the first race of the Formula Sim Racing 2021 Pro Championship here at Imola. Victor Ivanov finishes second. Solt Soeks is a little bit of a wait for him. He will be finishing third, just in front of Ivan Lendl with a different strategy. Still got a really good result for him. I would say he started a bit further down of the grid as well. Michael Ayers, fifth, just in front of Jan Bosnica. And then Cas Rietveld after he just got past Lawrence Doherty in seventh. Coming out of the final corner now. Then it's a bit of a wait for Zoltan Hives, who is also just navigating the last few tours. And I think Lawrence Doherty and Oliver Rosso have had an incident. Lawrence Doherty is without a front wing even.
I was just going to say, Rasmus Andreasen just took that position pretty easy. I thought he'd run out of fuel or something, but that car is definitely not turning properly.
Yeah, he's not got the front wing on there. Oof. Tom Mollermenger just got in through there. Let's have a look at the replay of what exactly happened to Lawrence Doherty on that final lap.
I think it's going to involve some sort of rear impact. He's gone wide at Aqua Minerale.
He lost it here, I think. Yeah, he's already lost it there.
Did he do what Cam did?
He's lost it there already.
Okay, maybe not. So he's dropped it at some point, hasn't he?
This is quite...
So he's got to have dropped it on the exit of Tosa.
Huh?
Ooh.
Eh?
It's almost like he's turned and the car's just gone. Nah.
That
too
is
too
really
much
weird.
Speed?
I guess.
Yeah.
Really strange. Anyway.
On that bombshell.
Yeah, Noah Rovers with a great victory once again. Or is it once again for him? I think it's his first victory, at least here in the pro category. But a great drive by him. And it gives a good example of what we might be able to see here in the World Championship in 45 minutes time. That will be a great race as well. So make sure to tune in for that. Big thanks to our sponsors, Masita Esports, SimLab and 3D Rap for making all this possible. Thank you, Aidan, for joining me here. Of course, as we have a quick look once again at those final standings. So yeah, all the top 10 there. Great stuff from them all. Big thank you everybody for watching. Thank you again, Aidan, for joining me. And I hope to see all of you for the World Championship in 45 minutes time. And of course later on for the Portuguese Grand Prix, which is coming up in 2 weeks time. Make sure to not miss any of that. And until then, please take care.